Hello again. We hear the word racism used so frequently in the modern world that it sometimes seems as though it's been part of the language forever. It has been around for a long time, but it was not a popular expression until a few decades ago. In Britain, the term racialism was preferred until the 1980s, and talking of racial prejudice or the colour bar was more commonly used than the word racism as well. Because it has become such an emotionally and politically charged word, there have been many efforts to attribute its origin to some group of whom we disapprove. Ali Rattansi, a professor of sociology, is the author of this book, Racism, a very short introduction. This was published originally in 2007 by the Oxford University Press and then comprehensively updated and revised in 2020. It is from the 2020 edition, which I have here, that I shall quote. You would think that a book published by the Oxford University Press about racism would be fairly careful to be accurate and correct, wouldn't you? It is perhaps unfortunate that the very first sentence of the book is deliberately untrue. Allow me to quote. Page 1, chapter 1. And the first two lines read as follows. The term racism was coined in the 1930s primarily as a response to the Nazi project of making Germany Judenrein, or free of Jews. Now, it's probably fair to assume that an authority in the field of racism like Professor Rattansi knows perfectly well that he has begun that book with a direct falsehood. Why has he done so? Well, it's really a variation of Godwin's law, the one that says that you try and bring Hitler and the Nazis into any argument if you can. He wishes to mention the Nazis as much as possible and associate them in the mind of his readers with racism. It was worth taking a gamble by making this ridiculous claim, for very few people know the truth of the matter. Right-wing people prefer to claim that it was Trotsky, the Russian revolutionary, who coined the word. This means that they can accuse anybody of speaking about racism of being a crypto-communist. I dare say that viewers would have seen people in the comments here claiming that Trotsky invented the word racism. It was actually an American who was first recorded using the word in a speech denouncing racial prejudice against American Indians. In 1902, General Richard Pratt said, "Segregating any class or race of people apart from the rest of the people kills the progress of the segregated people or makes their growth very slow. Association of races and classes is necessary in order to destroy racism and classism." It's unlikely that General Pratt coined the term, but this is the very first verifiable time that it appeared in print, first record we have of the word's use. After all, the other expression he uses, classism, had been circulating for 50 or 60 years or more by 1902, so it's very unlikely that he actually invented the word racism. I thought it might be interesting to delve a little into the etymology of the word to show how even a subject like language can be mobilized for political ends. Obviously, Ali Rattansi, author of Racism, a very short introduction, knows better than most the origin of the word which formed the title of a book which he has written. But he's keen to hide this information from his readers for political purposes. As I say, right-wing writers do exactly the same thing. I made this video really because I sometimes despair of having any discussion in good faith with anybody on either the right or left. It seems to me that most people who feel strongly about the subject of racism will resort to any devious tricks to prove their point and discredit those with whom they disagree.